Welcome to our 25th episode of the DMV Autocross Podcast. I'm Danny Ko.
And I'm Atta Tabesh. Thank you for joining us for our episode number 24. Now that the autocross season in the DMV is officially over, I feel like we've said that like 45 times in a row now. I mean, at least the last two episodes, right? Are we just going to use old scripts, Danny, and run out of stuff that we can talk about? Is that the plan for tonight?
Well, actually, we have nothing to report event-wise. I really ran out of stuff to talk about. Unless this turns into a track day or track cross podcast, which there are plenty else to talk about. Like, sure. I thought VIR at 30 degrees Fahrenheit was pretty scary, right? Or Alan ran out of gas on track.
Yep.
And then the recovery crew, while flat towing to make him carry a Sunoco flag outside of the window.
Good. It served him right.
And basically went around the track in what I call a toad of shame. And again, since there's nothing else to talk about, do you have any ideas, Ada? What are we talking about?
The three of us, so I almost want to talk about VIR. The three of us have done VIR in the last 2 weeks.
We can talk about VIR a little bit.
We could talk about it.
Let's do it. So what do you think?
Maybe in a little bit, because first let's talk about what did you get for your race car on Black Friday?
Let's talk about VIR for a little bit.
You want to talk about, okay, let's talk about VIR first. Then we'll come back because I'm excited to hear what you bought on Black Friday for your race car.
I bought it with my entire 401k plan.
Okay, well, let's save that for an episode never about spending your 401k on your race car part. So let's just back burner that for forever.
That's right. All right, we're going to talk about VIR first so that I can delay talking about burning my entire 401k plan. How's that?
That sounds great. Great.
So what do you think about VIR?
I fell in love with that track, with the accommodations, with everything. It felt so epic. It felt so huge. It felt grand, right? Full. It felt big. I learned I'm a bigger chicken than I thought I was.
But all I want to know is when did you start lifting when you go through uphill S's? The very first S, the second, third, or the fourth?
The first couple of sessions, I was braking before the S's, Danny. Forget lifting. I was on the other pedal next to the gas.
What is your highest speed when you enter the S?
Enter the S? At the end of the sessions, I got pretty high. I think I was like 120s maybe entering the S.
120 what?
I don't remember. It was fast. I have my video. I have
so Carwin was bragging about he was entering the uphill S's at 128.
Okay.
I did it at 130.
Oh, that'll teach him.
And then I didn't lift when I entered the first S, and then I got behind to the second S.
Okay, so that's scary.
They're like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Well,
I did.
So this time around, I'm in a GRD6, so I cannot enter the uphill S's at that speed. So I entered uphill S's around like 119. But
what do you mean 130 then?
130, I did it in a push.
Oh! I was gonna say that was your foot to the floor from NASCAR turn. Your foot to the floor. I don't understand how you're doing that.
Actually, the right hand lay apex into NASCAR turn, I was already matting the throttle.
Going in the GR.
No, in the Porsche.
Nice. Okay.
That's how I got to 130. In GR, I was the same, but I had to do a tiny lift to kind of lay apex into NASCAR.
So after NASCAR, after that left-hander, big brakes for me,
right,
to make that left-hander, and then I actually have to lift one more time right before I enter the little baby S's at the bottom, before I floor it.
You mean the left turn?
Mm-hmm.
You mean a South Bend?
I don't know what it's called.
I mean, everybody has to brake in South Bend. I mean, some people lift.
Not that one where you're like standing like the slowest turn in the course. Not that one.
No, I'm talking about after you pass the high speed S's, and then the left hand turn is called South Bend.
Oh yeah, that I was talking about way before that.
Oh, you have to lift a little bit in the small S's.
Yes, right before I enter the small, I need a baby lift.
Yeah. No, I mean, that right hand turn is you have to really lay apex it, right, and you have to do it right. If not, then you're behind. And then you're going to end up running the curbs, right?
Yeah.
So I guess Tom O'Gorman had an episode showing you how to drive VIR. They said that at VIR, you can touch the non-painted curbs, but try not to touch the painted curbs.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah. So basically the curbs are non-painted, painted, right?
Yep. I love the non-painted curbs. I thought they were fun. I thought they were exciting. They give a little depth to the track a little bit. But the painted curbs, you hit the painted, you're like, what are you doing, brother?
Right.
What are you doing all the way out here?
So I would say that day, the temperature was really cold. I think the highest we got to was around like 35 degrees.
That was our same. We had the same experience. It was, I want to say 2 weekends before you went. I went and it was very cold. There was frost all over the cars. People couldn't breathe. No one went out first session of the morning except for me and a couple other idiots.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they weren't trying to total their cars. Neither was I. I was going very safe, but it was so cold. There was forget heat in the tires. There was no heat in the atmosphere. Like our body,
it was really, really cold. I mean, the tires never was even lukewarm. So
no, never got not cold.
Yeah. So I would say time-wise, it wasn't that great because I couldn't put down any power at hog pen coming back to the front straights. So
dude, hog pen is fun.
Yeah, but I couldn't my turn in a hog pen, my back wants to come around. I mean, every time. Yeah, that's scary. Even on the last session. So that baby through hog pen, that means that I couldn't get on throttle early through the bottom, and then that coming up into the pit in. Normally, I can just flat foot it and just
the right hander,
but I couldn't. I had to kind of play with the throttle a little bit because my back is want to come around. So,
that's scary. Yeah. Okay.
So it was fun. It was interesting. I ran a little bit faster in a Porsche, but then in my GRD6, I didn't. Well, I ran a 217, so it wasn't that good.
That's great in a essentially stock GR86.
Yeah, but like people are running sub 10s. I mean, it's like good 7-8 seconds slower.
Well, the conditions weren't right. I mean,
it was interesting, but VIR was awesome.
Stock GR86s into the 209s, Danny. There's not really. They're really doing that. That's fast.
Yeah, man.
That's fast. Not a stock one. There's no
way.
Like
a Indy Miata Cup cars are like 209s.
That's a Cup car. No.
Yeah, but it's not that much more power.
It is. Yeah. No, not power, but it's set. No, but that's set up for the track. That's not fair to compare an Indy Cup car to your.
Yeah.
It's not a stock GR86, so I don't mean to offend, but it's essentially stock, Danny. Right?
Yes, it kind of is.
Right?
Yeah.
So speaking of essentially stock, did you do anything on Black Friday maybe to make your car less stock?
To make it less stock? Yes.
Okay. You're smiling. I see you smiling. First of all, is your teeth okay? I know you had a dentist appointment. Are you all right?
God, no, it's not okay.
So I saw you smiling big just now, and I just remembered. I was like,
I'm showing the teeth that's still available.
Your teeth look great.
The one that's not available is not
okay. We're gonna have one person comment like, "What are you talking about? Not available teeth, Danny?"
Not available means that there's nothing. I mean, it's not available to bite anything.
Don't even. We'll let them ask questions like maybe in YouTube comments or something, and we'll just never.
All reply. I did is I learned all the numbers of the teeth. I know what.
That's right. They go through and they're like
30, I know what number 30 is.
16.
16, 3. I know what that is now.
Okay.
Because I have quite a few missing.
Oh my God, I love it. I wouldn't say they're missing. They're just maybe not where they should be right now, right?
No, they're missing because after this Black Friday, I'm not spending $10,000 for an implant.
Oh my God.
I mean, I need to spend $40,000.
Oh my God.
It's crazy.
Okay.
I don't know how this turned into a dental hygiene.
I don't either. You smiled. You smiled too big, and I saw you smiling. So I was like, oh, baby, look at those pearly whites. I got excited.
The only reason it's big is because underneath there's nothing there, so it appears to be big.
Oh, my God. Okay, so going back to the stock GR86 at VIR, you were at VIR. You had a blast. Black Friday sales, Cyber Monday sales. Between that whole weekend, there was a lot going on, and I can tell by your time.
A terrible weekend.
Huh? It's a good time.
It's a terrible weekend.
It's a good time. But you wanted to go faster, right?
Yes.
You wanted to go faster for autocross, for track. I heard you're going to be an XA next year in the DMV region.
Yes.
So it looks like you got a sparkle in your eye right now. You bought a few things. Is that right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
It's the only thing that makes me happy when I buy a bunch of shit.
Okay. So we've talked about this on other episodes before.
Yeah.
One of the areas where you can improve, obviously, as a driver, blah, blah, blah. Forget all that. That's not for this segment right here.
No.
Let's talk about the car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Forget about driving.
Let's start where I think you shine when it comes to vehicle setup.
How to buy speed?
Suspension. No, suspension.
You want to start with suspension? You want to start with power?
We can start with power, but I feel like the way you drive, the way that...
We should talk about suspension first.
Okay, let's start with power.
Yeah, we can talk about suspension. I'm ready for suspension.
No, let's start with power because suspension is more exciting probably for our listeners.
Yes. Okay, let's talk about power.
let's ramp them up to suspension.
Okay.
So
yes.
hit me with the power, Danny. You said you weren't going that fast up the uphill S's. You're going to be jumping in XA with some big, powerful cars. There's rumors, I heard this online, that you might be on maybe doing a 1 lap, right? So,
yes.
Okay, so confirmed, you're doing 1 lap.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You need a little bit more power than stock. What is on your mind? What did you buy on Friday to Monday, Cyber Monday to Black Friday? What'd you buy?
I think the cheapest and the easiest way to gain power when the rules are not in the picture, right?
XA.
In XA is a tune plus flex fuel.
Did you buy a tune?
I did buy a tune. Okay. I've also bought a flex fuel tune. Right.
Okay.
So with flex fuel, you need flex fuel sensors and kits and stuff.
Yeah, you need that. You need the sensor, the E85 sensor, so you know exactly how much E you have in the tank. Oh, there it is.
So I got a flex fuel sensor.
Okay, great. So you got the kit.
In all the, what do you call it? The fuel lines and all that stuff. More fuel lines and sensors itself. There's a little sensor bracket. I mean, a little sort of a black box kind of a thing. That's all right in this kit.
Did you get the one with Bluetooth connectivity to read off your cell phone?
Yes, I did. So this one actually taps into the CAN bus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's doing all kinds of cool stuff with this. So
love it.
So I got this from Counterspace Garage.
CSG.
Love it. For about $400 some bucks.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
So that's actually probably, if flex fuel is allowed in your car, that's probably the cheapest way to do it. And obviously, some cars that you can't just straight out flex fuel, right? Because you need more fuel volume. You might need a fuel pump upgrade.
Sure.
You might have to upgrade. It depends on if it's direct injector and all that stuff. If you try anything else, you might have to go to larger injectors and so on, right? But the modern cars like the GRD6, you just need a flex fuel sensor.
Beautiful.
Some better fuel, right? Like an E85 or E40 or whatever, plus a tune, and then you're good to go.
Well, you'll be able to blend it now with that sensor, and you'll know exactly how much you have.
So this, and then you can put, you can put 93s. I mean 93, or you can go, E10, E80. I mean E85, E40, however you want to do it.
Your 93 is going to be around E10 anyways, so that's perfect.
Yeah. So regardless, all you have to do is you can put whatever the fuel that's available. That's high. That's a little bit more high test. And then the system will automatically adjust to it. You don't have to worry about anything. So for example, if you don't want too much corn, in your gas tank, so it, then it turns into some kind of a, I don't know, like funnel cake or something, right? And then you just in a cold temperature days that it's harder to start, you just run 93.
Perfect.
Right. And then during summertime when the temperatures gets up higher, if you want to make sure the engine runs cool, then you go to E85.
Yep. And
then the tune will adjust all the octane ratings, between the two. And then technically or theoretically or supposedly, the power increases around 15 horsepower to 20 horsepower on the GRD6.
And that's just for the flex fuel?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So in combination with a 4 to 2 to 1 header.
Did you get a header?
I did, but I don't have them yet.
Okay, but it's coming.
It's coming from Australia.
Perfect.
Yeah. So with that, you can get as much as 35 to 40 horsepower.
Hold on, Danny. What kind of header did you get?
I bought
Is it going to be upside down?
I bought an SME header. It's called.
No, I was going to say, are you sure they're not going to be upside down?
Oh, you mean because it's from Australia? It could be. Hey, but the header is mounted upside down on a Boxer.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So you have to get it from them. Like that. They make the right stuff.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So that header is supposed to be pretty good. Basically it will match the torque that's giving you on the unequal length header.
Nice. What about exhaust?
I already have the exhaust. I have a single exit exhaust from a Apache.
Perfect. And then
intake, actually no intake modification that's required.
Box good enough?
The OEM box is good enough. So the only thing I did 2 things, but this was done before. One of them I bought it from Black Friday because they have the 10, 15, 20% sale, right? So the same place where I bought the header from, I bought it from N6 Auto in Canada. And then this place also sells the plug kits for the intake box. So you have the filter intake box, right? And then you have, and these new cars always have another box that's attached to the main box for the resonating, right?
Yeah.
So I bought a plug kit to plug that out. So I got a little bit more room underneath.
Essentially, it's an intake then at that point.
Yeah. And then at the same time, I did get a stock rubber actual intake goes into the throttle body. It's kind of janky looking. I just bought a smoother
Perfect.
Yeah. One. So yeah, that's what I did with intake. That's it with power.
Okay. Yeah, I think you covered all the power you can do.
Yeah, 20%.
Reliably.
Yeah, 20%. Yeah. So it bumps somewhere, from 200 horsepower to somewhere to 240 horsepower.
That's awesome. Perfect.
Yeah, that's plenty, I think.
Yeah, that's plenty. Plenty.
For a naturally aspirated car with no risk of anything.
Sure, exactly.
Yeah.
If anything, it's safer if you think about it.
I also did one thing that's probably not too smart, but we'll see. I mean, I got a lighter flywheel for my clutch because I was burning my clutch. My clutch was actually, I need replacement.
No, I think that's good. The revs drop a lot faster with those lighter. Have you ever had lighter flywheel before?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you know.
I mean, this one's not on. This one's 11 pounds, so it's not sub 10 pounds.
But it's still pretty light.
But the drivability should be still there.
It will be.
But revving will be faster.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the down rev will be so good. You're gonna love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Coming down.
Yeah. It's probably a less engine braking, right? In those cases, I would think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So probably a little bit easier if I screw up on a heel toe. All right, that's all I got for power for Black Friday.
Okay, so in my mind, power, perfect, set. Let's move on. Let's do suspension now because suspension is not, it's the most important part, okay? Let's be real. It's the most important part, but it's not my favorite part. And I think we're going to save my personal favorite part for last. Right. So let's move to suspension. What'd you get for suspension? You were on springs, I believe, earlier.
I was on Tain springs, TEIN.
Yep.
Yeah, they only dropped about half an inch.
Okay.
But the funniest thing is I think apparently GR86 half an inch means like 3 inches. Because initially I bought the iBox springs that would drop 1.2 inches.
Okay.
Right. And now my car is slammed sitting on the bump stop. I go over any bump, my car's flying.
Jesus.
Right. It's undrivable. So then I went to this spring based on a recommendation from Ken Houseel.
Okay.
And then, that's what I ran for all the time trials, and I ran all the STRs, in that, right? But it's
are you planning on swapping to a different setup? Did you buy something else?
Yep. I only have $300 left in the bank.
Let's just cut that part out.
What was that cartoon to say? I got $3.
Oh my God.
That's literally what I got.
Oh my God.
I just saw my car now.
So you got, I'm guessing, MCSs?
Yes.
1-way, 2-way, 3-way?
2-way.
2-way. Oh, baby. It's 2-way so you can say peace.
Yeah. So 2-way comes with remote and non-remote.
Okay. What'd you get, remote?
I bought the remote one.
Yeah, you gotta look good.
Yeah.
You gotta look good. The ladies love it. Jody's gonna love it.
Jody didn't give you.
Yeah, but like in our minds,
yeah. But one beautiful thing about this particular car is like mounting the rear canister on the remote for an MCS is always somewhat of a headache.
Okay.
Right? Because you either, in the Supra, the best place to mount it is actually mounting between the exhaust to the outside wheel. So basically there's a fender well inside it's empty behind the rear bumper. And so the place to mount the rear canister is actually in that spot. So you can get down the ground, reach behind it because the dirt doesn't really get into the canister.
Good.
And so it's being protected unless somebody smack you from the back.
Well, you got other problems.
Yeah, exactly. That's a lot more prone to that. But that's on a Supra. That's where you mount them. But on a GR86 or FRS and stuff like that, believe it or not, if you remove the rear bumper, there is an air vent on the back.
Nice.
Right? That vent actually flaps open and close.
Mm-hmm.
It's just happened to be this big. It's got plastic sort of ridges or whatever dividers in the center, right? So if you snip the plastic divider, right, that's just big enough to slide the entire canister through.
Oh, perfect.
And then you can retain the flap. So basically when the flap is in open position, you just have a hose that goes in and it still does the trick of closing the air. And when the flap opens, it still allows air to come in. So it actually works out pretty well.
Even better, it sounds like.
Yeah, so you can bring the canister in, then you can mount it anywhere inside of it, which is perfect. And for the front, you can always use the stock strut bar and then basically hand those on them, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's how you can install them with external remote canisters without any issues. Because usually, if you don't, then a lot of times you have to get quick disconnect kit, front and back. And then you have to, once you disconnect, you lose all the nitrogen that's built in. Then you got to somehow find some nitrogen canisters and reset the nitrogen back.
Well, that's too bad. I didn't realize they lose pressure when you.
Yeah, you lose pressure, at least initially when you connect it the first time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So then the Supra, that's what you have to do. That's why, like when you do that, you have to find somebody that has a nitrogen tank that help and all the stuff available to kind of help you set that up together. So that's one of the considerations. Yeah.
Okay.
So of course, getting the shocks and struts comes with a lot of goodies, right?
Yep. Did you do sway bars?
I did.
Okay. Right. So sway bar. Oh, baby.
I'll put it up this way.
That is gorgeous.
So this is a GRD6 FRS BRZ camber plates from Carceps.
I see the camber adjustment right there. Big camber.
So basically, the thing that's really cool. I'm not sure if you can see this well.
Yeah, I can see them. I can see those additional.
So the two nuts that holds holds into the different camber positions, right?
Yes.
A lot of these companies will give you a lock washer and a tiny washer on each one of these. So when you lock them, when you crunch them, and you can actually see that the spacers gets crunched in.
Yeah.
Right. The washers gets crunched in. But what Carceps did is they basically got a single piece, like a rectangle piece of metal or a stainless steel metal. And then they drill 2 holes over there to clear this. So now all of a sudden the washer is one big plate now.
Right.
Yeah. So it holds the place a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then at the same time, you got ball bearings and stuff like that. And then
it doesn't slip.
And then what's really cool is if you look at the back.
This is what I thought you were going to show me.
Yeah, you look at the back, and most of the camber plates, some of them have these axes that you can move this way or move that way, off of the casters. But what they did on the design is drill another hole that's threaded so that you can actually put your post, this right here, and basically loosen them and put it over there on this spot. When you put it in this spot, you add 1 degree of caster.
Wow.
Right?
Amazing.
So now you have additional caster adjustments. This is the stock position. You usually get about 6 degrees of caster on the average, right? And then obviously you can do some more adjustments underneath and then get to a different caster angle. But if you want to add another degree of caster, you don't have to do any other adjustment. All you have to do is move this post from this hole to this hole. And then now you're at 7 degrees.
Wow.
Yeah.
That looks awesome.
So it's a caster camber plate adjustment.
So we got that plate, the Carceps plate, to go with the MCSs.
That's right. So the MCS will go to the bottom.
Bars.
The MCS will go to the bottom, and it will have the spring rate, and it will have a tender or helper springs.
Yep.
So that it doesn't snap loose, right?
Yep.
And then you have the rest of the stuff that you mounted.
You have your sway bars.
You have your sway bar, yes.
That's a lot of stuff, but you still need to put all that. The suspension still needs to touch the ground, Danny. Like no matter what you do, if you don't have the right footwork, you're not going to be able to really make the most of it. So
that's why you got the rims.
Did you buy rims?
I sold 3 sets of rims.
Okay, so that's the wrong way. So now you have no wheels.
Yeah, I know. I have no wheels.
So what do you do when you have no wheels? You need to get more wheels. 1 set of wheels.
No, you buy 2 sets of wheels.
You buy 2 sets of wheels. There it is. All right, what you got? Are they behind you?
I'll tell you, it's a very simple explanation when you buy 2 sets of wheels, right? And don't forget, I have a tire machine over there.
Yeah, I see the tire machine. Thank you, Danny.
So I have a tire machine over there, but I still need 2 sets of wheels.
Yeah,
because you know what? When you come back from the race and the next day it's raining, right? You only have 1 set of wheels. What do? You either don't go to the race if it rains a lot, right? Or you run whatever the race tires you have, hoping you don't hydroplane, hoping it's just wet, not like...
You're really going to run rains and dries. You're doing rains and dries.
Sure.
Okay. All right.
And then I also have higher temperature or cooler temperature weather tires and the hotter temperature weather tires.
So I like that. I like maybe 1 set of yokes, 1 set of Bridgestones, so you can kind of do
you can do it like back and forth there.
I don't like the rain tires, man. It's like the wets.
Plus I do track days, so you want a set of tires that you want to do track days, and then you got a set of tires that you do autocross, right? Because you don't want to burn your AO52s when you just do regular track days.
Use the RE71s for the track.
Yeah, so you kind of need 2 sets of rims, and I'll tell you the reason I spend the money and buy 2 sets of rims is the go-to rims for majority of the autocross cars is what rim? Like the best.
Coney?
No, the best rims for autocross.
The best probably Apexes? What are you talking about?
No, the best is always Enki RPF ones.
Oh, yeah, but they're not going to fit every car.
Well, so here's the problem with Enki RPF ones. So when we first started autocrossing for the first 15 years or so until the last 5 years, right? Majority of the car companies, I mean, GRD6 is still the same way. They put the smallest brakes that they can do.
Sure.
for street use. They don't use this humongous brakes, right? Unless you're like have a Lamborghini or something, right?
Yeah.
They always have the smallest one. So that means that when you autocross, all you have to do is put better pads on a smaller setup, and then chances are that will be the fastest because you have lighter rotors, smaller rotors, which means lighter rotors, and smaller brake calipers. And because of that, you can run an RPF1 in there because a 17 by 9 RPF1 is only 15.5 pounds or something like that, right? So if you want to buy something really, really expensive, like from Titan with the same size, right? You get 14.7, which you save about 0.8 pounds, right? But Titan rims are going to be $500 a piece, right? Where Anki's, you can get it for $250.
Yeah.
Right. So it's twice the money to buy Titans. Titans are probably like $600 now. Right. But one of the problem is with the RPF1 is which I didn't realize until I do more and more track days is the inner barrel clearance is not that much, not that wide.
Yeah.
Right. So in order for me to put my Anki's there on my Brembo brake kit, which is, running 326 millimeters, in the diameter, right?
Yep.
I have to run 25 millimeter spacer.
Juicy.
Right. Basically push the rims all the way out, right? All the way out this way so that the inner barrel always kind of narrows in, right? So I push it all the way out to gain more clearance.
So we're not going to do that. We're not going to run big spacers.
No, because I don't want to run big spacers. First of all, when I run huge spacers like that, maximum left and right, I'm going to run the inner left front and rear fender liner. Eventually, I'll end up doing like a Trevor Blackwell every time he drives an ND or Gray Pollock on the BRZ. The fender liner just spits out.
I had to dodge Pollock's fender liner on his STI, actually.
Yeah, they all fly out, man.
He left it right after the ski jump. He left his fender liner in the middle of the track on Shenandoah before you get to the carousel. That's right. I had to dodge it. I was dodging his parts for the whole session.
Right. Because you ride the rims that's sticking out and all of a sudden the left and right distance increases, right?
Yeah.
But when you turn left and right, you keep on rubbing against everything and then eventually
you're going to rub liners everywhere he goes. I feel like probably
you're going to rub a hole into it and then the thing splits and it shoots out
all over the place.
And then you turn into Alex Albon, spinning out the mirror. So then somebody else runs it over and lets carbon fiber over the place.
Ruin the race for everyone.
That's right. That messed everybody up. So anyway,
are we saying Alex Albon is like Greg Pollock? Like they're the same person pretty much?
Kind of.
Because they're just leaving their parts all over the
track. That will make Jen Fox a professional golfer, but that's all right.
Oh, right. Because of Albon's girlfriend. Nice one.
That's how it works. So anyway, I had to get 2 sets of rims. That's the excuse that I used for my wife anyway.
So are they on the way? Did they come? Like what happened?
No, I can show you.
They are behind you? Okay, good. Let's see them.
For the less expensive route, I got these Coney Ultragrams.
Are those your budget wheels? Budget?
Yeah, they were actually fantastic. They are. You can see how big it is.
Come closer to the mic.
They are 17 by 10s.
17 by 10s. Nice.
That's right.
Beautiful.
17 by 10s. And then one of our national autocross friend, Justin, he actually owns the company that are reselling this now. So I got it from him under Buy Friday. Shoot, I have to look it up.
Put it in the description below.
I'll put it in the description below. Or I'll figure it out if you give me 10 minutes looking at it. So anyway, I bought these. I bought these. These are pretty cool. They're a little heavy though. They're 19.1 pounds. They were $10.99 shipped to my house.
Wow.
Everything.
Nice.
Yeah. So roughly they're probably around $250 a rim. Yeah.
Perfect.
But there's humongous amount of clearance on the inside.
Yep. There you go. Yeah. A lot of good brake clearance.
So this is good. I'll put that in the description.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Okay, so that's one set. Did you get the other set or no?
And then I went to the big Friday, Black Friday sale from Apex.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Apex. Good. Right, good. So let's see what you got.
So the difference between Apex from companies like Koenig or Yankees, if you look at some of these older design rims, right, like the RPF ones, they have a smaller inner barrel. And even these Koenig Ultragrams, I think they're designed much later, right? So they use form flow, whatever, different technologies, right? One of the things that you definitely see is on the center hub, the clearance on the center hub for a rim that was made for any car, it's always bigger, right? Because they want to use that to fit multiple different types of cars, right? So a lot of companies, they use the standard, I think 73.1 millimeter is what they use.
Okay.
On the GRD6, the center bore hub is 56.1.
Oh, that's tiny.
Yeah. So
that's smaller than S2000.
So you don't really have to run the hub adapter so that the rim doesn't fly around, because all of these rims now, it's always 60-degree countersink. So you use the right bolt and it will automatically center the rim to where it is, right? But one of the things to consider is if you get aftermarket ones that's made for everybody, you might want to consider getting a adapter to fit into the right hub so center when you mount them every time. But if you get rims from somebody like Apex or BC Forge that Sam Strandl sells, right? They're custom made for the particular car, so they can cut the bore any way they want to, right? So I know Sam sells Apex and BC Forge, and Carstep sells Apex as well. So I took advantage during Black Friday, and I bought it during Black Friday.
Nice.
Right? So this is what I got.
How many parts does this man have in this room exactly with us? Oh, those are nice. Yeah. Those are nice.
This is pretty sexy.
Yeah, those look really nice too.
I think the Koenig has the same thing, but if you look at the edge of this, I'll put it out here. If you look at the edge here, they have the non-slip portion that's cut there so that the tire doesn't slip on top of that.
That's nice.
That's much, nice. Right? And then I know it's going to be hard to see, but you can see the spoke instead of this eye spoke. See that? Right? It's in the shape of eye, so it's cut deep in the center.
Okay.
So it almost looks like one of those construction beams that,
very good.
Looks like an eye shape, right? And so that's how they cut weight and make it strong.
Yep.
Right? And this is this is a Forge rim.
How much does that weigh?
This is 17 by 9. So it's
no.
It's 1.2 pounds lighter.
But it's 17 by 9.
Oh, I'm sorry. 17 by 10.
Okay, good. So same width.
Same size.
Good.
It's 17.9 pounds. That's what I meant.
Got it. So it's lighter, same size but lighter.
Same size but lighter and stronger.
Okay.
Right. So I think that those rims typically can handle up to like 500 pounds or 525, and this is up to 550 to 575.
Okay.
Yeah, per rim. So this is obviously stronger. Yeah. So, and then the other thing that's interesting to talk about is you see the center board?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's made specifically for
tiny
car. So it's 15.
Teeny tiny, Danny.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's kind of how that works. And then of course the inner clearance, if I remove this, it's pretty huge.
Yeah, I mean clearance for days.
Yeah. So when I put it over my brake kit, I got another inch left.
So big check mark for power, big check mark for suspension. Let's give the people what they're here for.
Oh, okay. Here. So I'll show you this one thing.
This is oh, wait, what are you going to show me?
I'm going to show them the coolest thing I got.
Let me see. Oh, come on.
Okay, this is a super trick.
This is a egregious spending of money at this point for this.
What do you mean? This is like the coolest thing.
I'm going to say it is very cool.
Yeah.
But
look at that.
Of all
can people guess what it is?
This is not as cool as anything you've shown.
Look, this thing right here.
Yeah.
AutoZone, $15 right here.
Here we go. Yep.
No, this.
Tell them what this is. I know what this is.
This is a windshield fluid reservoir kit, right? So there's a reason for this. What's the reason for this, Ada? Do you know?
I don't know the reason for this. You trying to look cool and pick up chicks.
No, you can't even see this because this is buried inside of the front bumper.
So what is it, to weigh less?
No, because what happened is if you're getting really, really fancy and your brake heats up super high, which doesn't happen in autocross as much, but it happens a lot in track, right?
Okay. You
need some sort of air to cool down your brakes. Right?
Okay.
So of course there are a lot of people that are doing things like buying a 997 GT3, sort of a brake deflector mounted on the front lower control arm that redirects the air into the rotor, right? But you have to know the angle and it has to be redirected into the right place. And then plus, if you have dust shields that's running behind the rotor, chances are that air getting into it is not very high, right?
Yeah, it's blocking it anyway.
So it might block it anyway. So if you do that, you might, at the minimum, modify your brake dust shield, right? So, but there are a bunch of brake kits out there so that it takes the front, like for example, in the GRD6, you remove the fog lights in the front and then replace that with a carbon fiber or ABS air duct. And then you run the air duct in, connected to a tube, or an air tube, right? A 3-inch air tube, and then it routes into another, what they call a pancake, and then that gets connected into a customized brake shield that has a hole in there that allows you to connect the hose into it. So now when the car runs, the air rushes through the front and push against the inside of your rotor, so your rotor doesn't get warped, or you lose your brakes and all that stuff. So this allows you to run the air hose or the duct hose underneath it with plenty of clearance.
So you're telling me you spent US $1 on a windshield washer reservoir?
It's made in the USA, by the way.
That's okay. Thank you for that. That's great. We love you. I love this country. That wasn't in question, though. You bought a windshield washer reservoir, and you are saying it's a suspension braking part because it allows you to run your brake ducts.
Yes.
Through the area that the OEM windshield washer fluid was.
That's right. But guess what happened though? What happens is when you drive, you got all kinds of crud and bugs and all that stuff in your windshield, and you can't clear.
So you need your windshield washer.
You need your windshield washer. I try to run without it, but it ain't working, because every time when I try to run without it, when I press the thing and there's no water coming out, I'm like, why did I just do that?
Remind me to get in front of you and spray mine to go over my car and on your windshield.
Yes.
Just remind me to do that.
Right. That's exactly how that's the only time I can get some water, or in the rain.
Danny, call me up. Call me up on the hot lap. I'll pull up right in front of you, and I'll spray your windshield, and then I'll pull back aside.
That's right. But I'm telling you, this is the cool stuff, man. This is made by P Tuning in Manassas, Virginia.
It does look gorgeous. Right. I'll give you that.
I got it from my friend, also Justin Crenshaw.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So if any one of these.
Nice. Okay. That's okay. I love it.
Free advertisement. All right.
No, that thing looks absolutely gorgeous. I'll give you that. You that.
Okay, so what's next?
What's next is why the people listen to the podcast, Danny. It's why the people autocross. It's why people go to the track days. It's why kids are born in this country.
That's right.
Aero.
Keep your wing in the back. All right, so I bought a wing.
Let's see it, Danny. Come on.
I don't have all the wings, though. I only have a little bit of a wing.
All I need is all your aero. Show me all the aero. I know you bought aero because you're not allowed in XA without aero.
All right, let me put this over there so I don't trip myself.
We need to start protesting people that show up and don't have aero in XA. Go to another class if you don't want to party, because that's really all XA is about in XB too. Oh Lord, look at that.
This.
Look at that Zebulon beauty. Look at that. Danny, why aren't you wearing white gloves while holding that thing, man? Look at that. Gorgeous. That's a swan mount.
It's a swan neck.
That's a swan mount. Oh, baby.
Yes.
Oh, Danny. It looks so good.
This is known as an arm and a leg.
An arm. Okay. All right. Well, it's worth it. So, also, please get you need some white gloves like that a valet wears, Don't want to put fingerprints on that thing. And look at that. Oh, baby. Oh, and he's got those duct underneath the splitter, those tunnels. What are those called?
Tunnels.
Tunnels, yeah, those tunnels. And that looks like a quick release mount. Oh, baby. Is this race bred or is this Veris?
Right. So here.
Oh, that is quick release.
Quick release.
All right, when Danny gets back, we're going to ask him if that was Veris or race bred. So the wing was Zebulon. Oh, also, we got to ask him if he's got canards on the way, too.
All right. All
right, welcome back.
I bought a Zebulon wing.
Yep.
Because I want to be baller.
Yeah, it worked.
That's like the Louis Vuitton of arrows.
I love it.
Or I actually learned this because my wife made me learn how to pronounce this particular brand, which is French. You know how sometimes you drive around, you see people carrying Hermes bags?
Yeah.
So those Hermes bags are like $4,000, right? It's a tiny bag like that. So I learned how to pronounce them in French. It's called Hermes.
Hermes.
It's Hermes.
Hermes. Thank you for that, Danny. That was really good. So can I ruin the parade real quick?
Yes.
What kind of before I ruin the parade, what kind of splitter is that? Was that race bred or Veris?
Race bred.
Race bred. Beautiful.
I know there's a reason for me to do all of them. I can tell you. I can tell you what it is.
Go through the reasons, and then I'm gonna ask you, why did you pick certain things over other things?
Yes. So there are quite a few companies, right, that are making rear wings and all of that stuff. So
absolutely.
you got RaceBred making front splitter rear wings. You got 9 Lives making these humongous wings, right? And then you got Varus making high efficiency wings. They have their like V1X or Swan Neck. They have their wings too, right?
Yep.
And then you have the traditional APRs, right? And then you have other folks that's in the autocross world in San Diego. They make like these wing stuff has been out there for a long time. It's just there's not really any standardizations or any of that stuff, right? So I don't know why I ended up buying Zebulon. I think the reason for that is because I've seen too many autocross and racing friends that have like really, really, really awesome looking Zebulon wings.
Yep.
I mean, borderline ridiculous. One of my friend Chris, which I did one lab and go to nationals with, he has a Lotus Evora.
Okay.
So guess what his wing is like? He has a dual element wing.
Huge.
But he has to pop the rear trunk to get into changing the engines in the back, right? Because it's mid-engine, right? So he has the disconnect method where his wing actually you can disconnect, and then instead of it just falls down, it folds backwards.
Oh man.
Right? And it just hangs right in front of his brake lights. So it looks like another kind of arrow.
Oh my God.
That's just how you pop it. And then when he finished popping it, then he will flip the wing back up. It's almost like a Rubik's Cube turning.
That looks so good.
It's so sick, right?
Yeah.
And then of course he has it. Then I saw Mr. Hollis has it in his CRXs. And then I've seen Jimmy Rock and my friend Jason Tipple under Civics. They have those wings. And then I've seen the splitters that they make. It's outrageous. We're talking about F1 type.
And Andy Smedegaard put one on.
That's right. Smedegaard has his, right? I mean, on the green.
It's Alex Moss's car.
It's Alex Moss's car, right?
Yeah, but they have a monster Zebulon.
Oh my God. I mean, they're all kinds, right? So our new host actually has some other secrets that he's working with Zebulon. I'm not going to talk about it. He's going to have to show you in one of his shows, but that's going to be way down the future.
Are you talking about the Stalker?
Yeah.
Oh, baby. Oh.
All right. That's all I'm going to say. If what they're working on comes true, it's going to be sick.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No, it's unbelievable. Right.
Okay.
So therefore, I don't have money to buy their splitters. Plus, if I go to their splitters, that literally takes all of the streetability out of my car.
Sure.
I wouldn't have it.
Though.
Right.
But they look so good.
Yeah, they're awesome. And they're probably very functional too. So I did get their rear wing because I always want a Swan Neck. And then I've seen their products and it's awesome. Right.
So why Zebulon over AJ Hartman? That's my question to you.
Well, I don't know AJ Hartman that well.
Okay.
Right. So the first time I actually heard of AJ Hartman is through my friend Tom Reynolds.
Yep. Right.
Tom has all the AJ Hartman stuff.
Yep.
So from my perspective, Ryan as Zebulon and AJ Hartman, with his company, they're probably on par. They're the same, and they're awesome people, right? I mean, they all make, they're not making suspensions for autocrossers. Okay. They're making suspensions and custom stuff for, like US Formula teams and, they're at, Daytona 24.
That's amazing.
Or Sebring 12 hours, right? Or something like that. So they're doing stuff for, LMP cars and stuff like that. For us to have something like that is a complete overkill and a really, really extreme high luxury item.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I called it the Louis Vuitton of.
It's worth it. It looks so good.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah. So anyway, that's why I have. And then I picked the front splitters from RaceBred.
Yep.
The biggest reason is because their splitter is 100% chassis mounted.
Yes.
Right. The problem is you go through some other brands. I'm not going to name their brands. They say that their splitters are you can step on it, handle 200, 300, 400 pounds. Right. Yep. But the reality is instead of chassis mounting it with mounting brackets and then mount the piece of the splitter on it and seal the air and create tunnels that you can truly create true front downforce. Yep. They just use part of the front bumper plastic or the plastic reinforcement, and they drill holes through it and put a nut on the top, or they even use rev nuts. Yeah,
sure.
Tilt them together. So guess what happened? Any kind of a downforce that adds it's going to tore through that rev nut off the plastic, and then you're dragging on the ground.
Yep.
Right. That's what's happening to Allen's ND that I sold him, because it wasn't a chassis mounted, it was a bumper mounted front splitter.
Oh, okay.
Right. So yeah, if you hit anything like heavy, or you end up really stepping on it or whatever, then once one part started cracking or fall through, the whole entire side is going to come down.
Wow.
Right. So that's the problem. And I don't want to deal with that, because I've seen Allen's splitter fail twice now. Actually, the first time it fell was on a race spread at Pocono.
Yeah.
And the reason was
I was there for that.
Yeah. I think the bracket, it wasn't a bracket failure. I think that maybe when he puts the splitter on, it wasn't in place. The locking pin wasn't in there. So
it wasn't aligned.
Pin fell off. And, and then since it wasn't aligned, then one side of the splitter started dragging. And of course, it's torn the back, and it tore the whole front end off.
Exactly. I think he was on the banking.
That's right.
On the outside.
Yeah, that happened at Pocono. So obviously
I waved at him when I went by.
Yeah. He loses his whole first session, I think. So when you get a front splitter, you got to make sure it's sitting on there good. And you also want to have the capability of making adjustments. So in case that if you're not running any rake in the car, you still want the front angle of attack to be at least 1 degree.
Sure.
Right. So if you have chassis mounted brackets with mounting holes for adjustment of the angle, then it doesn't matter what kind of rake that you're running on your car, you can still achieve that, the proper attack angle with the adjustments on the mounting brackets. Mm-hmm. Right. So, and then Race Spread had a humongous Black Friday sale.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. It was like 25% off.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. And then just so you know, what's really interesting is I bought the tunnel piece separately, because they were running out of the tunnel pieces back in October. So I ordered it early to have delivery back in end of November. Mm-hmm. And of course I bought it without Black Friday. When the splitter came out, when the Black Friday discount came, I ordered it. You wouldn't believe how cool these guys are, right? Mm-hmm. So what they did is they shipped me the tunnel. Mm-hmm. And then they sent me a note and say, hey, Danny, we noticed that you ordered a tunnel previously, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're assuming that this tunnel is for the GR86. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
Let us cut this for you.
Oh no, they are so.
It's amazing.
So
they use their CNC cutter and cut exactly what the tunnel is and pre-drill all the holes,
because they know that
when the splitter show up, all I have to do is put 8 bolts in and mount it, and it's perfect. Isn't that unbelievable?
That's the kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that people do to make other people's lives better. And
customer for life,
kind of people that deserve our respect.
I mean, customer for life, right? I mean,
customer for life. Yeah.
I mean, otherwise, I'm gonna have to do a jigsaw and go, and I'll cut all the, and it will leave a mess, and then I have to drill all the holes. If I don't line up,
and then you have to order another one because you definitely cut the wrong place.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm telling you, amazing. And then once they cut it, they laminate, whatever the black cover material over there. You can't even tell it was cut.
That's so cool.
Right, because the way they make theirs, I think they use wood, mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. They use wood, and but they cover it with this really cool, non-skip, and
it's like a honeycomb texture.
Yeah, a honeycomb texture. Really they wrap it, right? Yeah. So what they did is they actually cut it and then they wrapped it. So it looks 100% professional and perfect, right?
It's because it is.
Yeah, it is. Right.
Okay, so I saw
that's why I picked them, and then the rest of the stuff I bought it through Veris.
What do you mean the rest of the stuff?
So I have a Veris diffuser.
Oh,
I have Veris spats. I have Veris ice skirts, and I have Veris tunnel covers.
What about you? Didn't mention canards.
I did not buy canards.
Why not?
I don't know if I need it. Right now, what I'm doing is I bought front spats from Race Spread.
Sure, for the tires.
For the front spats. So basically what front spats does is when the airflow that comes through, it actually has another piece that runs in front of the front wheel.
Yeah.
Right. And then that redirect the air out so that it doesn't mess with the aero like from the front tires and back. Right. Sure. But there are 3 different possibilities, right? I didn't really buy them because you can run canards, you can run front spats, you can run or you can run end plates, right? So Veris has a version of spat combination
with a splat. That's a combination. You run that.
Yes. So, but the thing is there are fancy end plates like the ones that Zebulon is selling.
Okay.
Right? That RaceBred actually sells end plates.
Okay.
And they are $700. It's really tricky. It's this humongous end plate with arrow on the side of the end plate. Of course, you autocross, you hit a cone one time, here goes your end plate. Right? So it's not really done specifically for autocrossing. But if you put canards and you hit a cone on a canards, that's not going to be good either.
Right. But you're not going to be hit. When was the last time you hit a cone, Danny?
But last time you hit canards, your canards broke off.
No, that was from downforce. It was at the track.
I'm sure it's from a bunch of cones that you hit prior.
No, that was all downforce. I don't hit cones.
That orange stuff that's on the edge of the thing.
I don't hit cones. I don't hit cones.
Yeah. So the reason I didn't do that is because the front arrow, you can do spats, you can do end plates, or you can do canards.
Yeah.
Or you can do the combination of all three.
You do all three. That's what I'm.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, like from what I heard is the front end plate, the one that RaceBred is selling, right? It gains another 18% of downforce.
Okay, I believe it.
And splats actually generates quite a bit of downforce. I don't know how much the canards does, but I do think that they need to work together in combination.
Yeah, the spats and the end plates work in combo to give you awesome everything. Like that's how they're supposed to work.
So from that perspective, I'm sure all these designs are designed together with some sort of a harmony, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Right? Yeah. So that's why I bought the RaceBred spats, because that was the cheapest solution, right?
Sure.
And I think my next move is I'll probably end up getting the RaceBred end plates.
Good.
Right? Because if I go out and get canards from Veris with something else, I mean, that's probably not what was designed together for.
I'm tell you what, that looks sexy, man.
Yeah,
it looks sexy, and it's pushing air in a totally different direction.
I want to make sure it works. I don't care about sexy.
It's gonna work. It's aero. It's gonna work, baby.
I don't know. We're all kind of new at this, right? So
yeah, I mean, we have no idea what we're doing. I don't
exactly.
know, but I'll tell you what, the end plates, the tire spat, and the canards together look sexy. So
so the thing is, from my perspective, I don't even know what the hell the tunnel does. All I know is allow the air to fall through much more seamlessly to generate a lot of downforce.
The tunnel is that it creates that escape for that air to go through, right?
Yes, but the thing is, if my whole car underneath is flat, it should escape all the way towards the back, which will come out through the diffuser. Right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, I did buy covers that covers transmission and the drive shaft tunnels so that the air is going to go all the way across.
Good. Yep.
Right. So it's like a real race car. The bottom is completely flat.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. And then I did buy the Veris diffuser because it is a fairly decent diffuser. So yeah. So awesome. I did that. Yeah.
Awesome. Good.
All right. So that's a lot of stuff that we talked about. I want to close this segment to show you the worst thing I bought.
Oh, this is going to be the best thing, isn't it?
Yes.
When you say worst, I know it's going to be the best.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what you got.
This is excessive. But I bought this.
Oh, that's the best. That's the best. Oh, yeah. Look at that thing. Okay. Look at those buttons.
So this is a Momo steering wheel. It's called a Mott 88, and it's in 320 millimeters.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
But this thing on the back with all these buttons is from a company called JQ Works.
Okay.
Right? So the very first time I saw this was from my friend Jackie Ding. He has it on his M2.
That's awesome.
Right? And once I saw that, I almost tried to buy an M2 just because I can have this. Right? So and then a few months later, my friend Tom Reynolds has one for the Supra.
Oh, wow.
So, but it's understandable, right? M2 Supra, BMW products and all that stuff. And then before you know it, they have it for all the BMWs. Mm-hmm. Right? And then recently they released it for the GR86 and GR Corolla.
That's cool.
Right?
That's cool.
So of course I saw this. I was like, I called Jackie up and say, hey, what's the deal with the Black Friday discount? He says, we have one.
Oh, it's so cool.
20% off.
Oh,
all right.
Huge.
So about that, but here's the advantage of it, right? So all of these buttons are programmable. I think 2 of them are like programmable, and rest of them it's all like they actually matches to, if you put the standard configuration in there, it actually matches. So I know that one of them, I think this one's cancel, and this one is turn on cruise control.
Oh, so like actual OEM functionality.
Yeah. So these two are knobs that you can turn, right? These. So
like radio.
So one of them is a volume knob, and then the other side is one that with the GRD6 you can scroll through all the options like oil temp or mileage and so on
per
and
gallon,
so on, right? And then I think one of these 2 buttons is for set and resume.
Yeah,
for cruise control. And this other 2 is, I think one of them, I think this button's for calling.
Okay, like a phone call.
Yeah, like a phone call. You press it, and then you can do voice activation on that stuff. So, and then the horn button works.
That's so cool.
So then I what I also did is I actually bought a chicken sticker and put it in the front. I'm going to put the chicken sticker on.
Thank God.
To customize it a little bit. So anyway. I just broke it. But that's it. It's an hour of covering all the junk I bought, and now I'm broke.
No, that's so I'm pumped. Oh man. Okay, thank you. That was inspiring, and it was nice to see all the sales on Black Friday, the things you bought, the companies. So it's almost like a mini shout out too to all the companies and stuff. So that's
good. So that was our QVC segment.
QVC, baby. Or for our listeners who are
or worst case scenario, you can always get this for Black Friday when you're completely stressed out. You can get a shark and then go there.
Danny, I'm going to explain what QVC is for our younger listeners.
Oh wait, that doesn't exist anymore?
Who still have jobs. Yeah, the people like in their 40s, 30s, 20s. So back in the day, there was a television station that you'd go to. It was like Google, right? Where you can go Google shopping, but it was on TV, and there was a phone number you had to call. So you'd see something that you liked on TV, you'd sit and watch it for hours. You'd call the phone number, they would talk to you, and you would place a manual order for whatever it is you just saw on the TV, and that's the station was called QVC. Yeah. So I just wanted to explain that for our younger
Home Shopping Network.
Home Shopping Network.
Yeah.
God, I haven't seen that channel in 20 years.
I don't know. I haven't seen TV in 20 years, so I just assume that QVC is still there.
Is QVC still around?
Yeah, I think so. My mother-in-law loves watching QVC.
Really?
Yeah, QVC. But she's like 85 now.
QVC television network. It looks like it's still around.
It probably still is.
So wait a minute.
So you just had a QVC presentation, except that everything that the QVC shows, none of that stuff works.
Dude, I could just buy stuff off QVC online. I don't need to watch the show.
What?
Like it's like Amazon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in this too, you don't have to watch any of the stuff that we talked about. You can just go straight to QVC.
Just go to QVC to buy your race car parts.
Yeah, that's right. All right, just to sum up real quick, if you want to get your rims and the stuff that I was talking about, you can get it from Mr. Strano, or you can go to Carceps. Suspensions, you can go to Mr. Strano and Carceps. My awesome steering wheel, I got it from Jackie Ding at PhD Racing. Mm-hmm. And then all the aero stuff, you're going to have to kind of find them, I guess. Or you can go to Jackie Ding. He sells a lot of these aero stuff, but it's only if you do an XA or XB or XU or something like that.
XU, right? Those are the 3 real classes.
Yeah.
If you think
and then the cool windshield fluid reservoir is from P-Tuning from my friend Justin Crenshaw. So
that's awesome.
That's it. That's all the shout outs I can have. And then, for the Koenig rims, you have to look for the description below. I mean, my friend Justin Tellis is the one that's selling it, but yeah, he gives good deals.
That's awesome. Oh my goodness.
All right. And I think we spent enough money. I'm already broke. I don't want to make everybody broke, so we better wrap.
We spent enough money. You've made a lot of people happy. You've made a few people cry. So let's move on to feature of the week. All right. So for our feature of the week segment, we're going to cover the last segment of Danny's Autocross Cars. As you can see, Danny is now a slow, casual autocrosser, frequently yelling at the sky, the clouds, when the course sucks. He's just making up some nonsense that doesn't even make sense, but we believe him because he's
nobody believes me. They think the course is awesome.
But he does enjoy all the racing activities with whatever he has available to drive, right? So Danny, let's conclude the segment with the final list in how this has come about. But before we do, I do have a personal caveat here from myself. This, of all your cars, this part, not just because it's the newest, latest, greatest, it just, these cars are icons. They mean something to me. I love this segment. So
but that's
I'm really
that's because you got one.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah, I got one of them, but like almost every car on this list is a dream car almost. This is the shit right here. This is
when I go broke.
You go broke, but I'm not married to you. I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, don't forget.
Okay, so
don't forget
so
I'm a Miata guy, right? I have 15 Miatas.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And then I didn't have any money while I was having all the Miatas neither. So
right. So what happened?
Well, no, this is when the kids leave and off on their own and finish college. Like Rusty English says that they're off the payroll, right? Mm-hmm. So they're off my payroll. Off Jody's payroll, my wife's payroll. Oh, so anyway, so I figured that if I don't do it now, there's no way that I can ever do it. Right. Yep. So actually all this stuff happened after I turn way past 50. I'll be a few months away from 60 now, right? So this is my last hurrah. So these are my last hurrah cars. All right. So one of the cars I always want to have, right, was a Nissan GTR.
Gojira.
Yeah. So my friend Corey Ridgick, he lives in Northeast Pennsylvania, and then he bought one. This is a funny story. He bought the car, which was his dream car, but he's so much younger than me, right? Mm-hmm. So that means that he's a much better, much more successful person that can accomplish his dream while at a super young age. Guess what he did? He buys it. He thinks that this is going to be a super fast autocross car, which it is, right? It's been proven, which it is. He buys it. He babied it, and then took him a few months to get the braking miles done, and everything was fine. He took it as New Jersey Pro Solo, right? And then he launched on the first run, pretty good. He launches another one, and then the third launch that he has overheated the transmission and puts him in limp mode. So he freaks out, right? And then he finished last place.
Oh, because he's not sending it after that.
He's a 2-time national champion, by the way. He's not sending it after that, right? So it turns out that some GTRs only have 3 launches.
Oh my goodness!
You launch them 3 times, and then it'll give you transmission overheat or something like that. I don't know what it is. I mean, it happened to me when I did that. I did the same. But you know what happens when that happens?
What?
You turn off the car, unplug the negative battery, put it right back on, and then resets the car, and off you go again. You got 3 more launches.
Oh my god, I love it.
So those are the trick, right? That you can do. Then he goes, "Oh my god, no, the car is going to break." So he doesn't run anymore. He just stores it there. Then after a year and a half of paying just car payments on a car and not running, he finally went, "Man, I can't keep this." Right? He sold it to me cheap.
Nice.
Yeah. So I bought it. And of course, the first thing I did was I did drive the real Godzilla back in 2014 that Eric Hyman has. So I called up Eric Hyman and say, "Hey, do you have anything that you don't want that you can sell to me for me to prep the car?" So he sold me all kinds of stuff. He sold me 18 by 12s. He gave me a bunch of Hoosiers. He sold me the biggest carbon fiber fender that was custom made so I can run 18 by 12s.
Oh my
God.
God.
So he gave me all the stuff that he went through and custom built, to get to that point. So he let me run it. And then I ran him in Street Mod in DC. And then it feels like a tank. It runs through everything. It was actually fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I ended up getting rid of it because when COVID first started, everybody thought that their job's going to be done, right? Because nobody can work.
Yeah.
So then I panicked a little bit. I was like, "Oh my God, I don't know if I can afford this." So I casually just put a message or whatever on Facebook and say, "I'm going to sell this car for this money." And then I didn't think anybody would do anything because it's the middle of COVID, right? Right at the start of the COVID.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, a friend of mine calls me from Ohio and said, "My young nephew was going to buy himself a birthday gift. He's going to turn 25 and he wants your car." And I say, yeah, sure. Good joke. Right. My friend Jay. So he goes, no, he's serious. Right. So I go, "Okay, man, if he brings cash, I'll sell it." Right. A couple days later, Jay came down with his nephew, paid me cash and bought the car and left. I know. His 25th birthday gift. Pretty awesome, right?
I don't think I'd grown a single facial hair by 25.
Me neither.
I don't even know what to say.
No. So seriously, so he bought it, then he had it. He had fun with it. He reversed it. He slammed it. Make it to a lowrider or whatever.
Nice.
Liberty Walk to stuff.
Liberty Walk.
And then he sold it afterwards. So that's what happened to my GTR. That was my ultimate dream car. That I had it for a while, but it left.
Right? That thing was awesome.
So the interesting part is then, of course, in the middle of COVID, you think about a lot of things, right? I mean, we have friends that passed away, autocrosser friends and all that stuff. There's quite a few people passed away, people, relatives and stuff that happened, quite a few. It may make you think about, if you don't do things now, when are you going to do it? I'm already over 55, right? So in the middle of COVID, once I sold the GTR, a couple of weeks later, I actually got an employment contract, basically said that we definitely want to keep you working continuously, and we'll give you a bonus if you stay, right? And then you can work 100% from home.
Oh my God.
Right? We're like, wow, great company. But what are we going to do without a nice car?
Right? So you have to buy something else.
So I got to buy something else. So guess what I did?
What'd you buy?
I went to the Porsche dealer and say, how can I get on the list for a GT4? And then they go, there's no more lists on a GT4. Everybody chickened out after COVID. So if you want it, you put a deposit, it's yours. So that you got the next one.
Oh, wow.
So I go, when is the next one? He says, no, this was in May now. I mean, this was in April, right?
Okay.
He says the factory is going to reopen on the third week of May.
Okay.
Right? So it's going to take them 10 days to produce it.
Yep.
Right? And then it's going to go to Emden in northern Germany or in somewhere around there. Right. And it's going to get shipped out of there. It's going to go straight into Rhode Island, somewhere in Providence, a port in Providence. And then once it gets there, they will prep and port prep and all that stuff and ship it down. Then you have that. And that's usually a month.
So a couple of months.
Right. So I got it in the middle of July.
That's awesome.
Right. And then at the time I put a deposit down, and then a week later they say, well, they're going to get ready to build it. What color do you want?
Oh, that's
what buying that GT4 was like, where other people have to wait 2, 3, 4 years for that.
Yeah.
I didn't wait at all. It just came.
That's so cool.
Right. So I bought a GT4, but I still got to figure out how to pay for it.
How'd you like it compared to the GTR?
I think GT4 is a better car all around, but GTR is more special.
Yeah.
Yeah. GTR is a special car, man. I mean, that's not a normal car.
I like that comparison. Yeah, actually,
like GT4 makes all the noises, right? And then when it's full throttle open on track, and the sound is glorious, right? When you drive on the street, it drives me crazy because it's annoying. Okay. It's downright annoying. I don't know why. Although guys like Gaffney and these guys are driving GT4s, they love it because they can't hear.
Oh, that was a good one.
Of course, I'm super young. I can hear everything. So I did not like the noise from a GT4. And then I did not like the heat that gets generated from a GT4 with all the particular filters and all of that stuff. And of course, and then I don't have the advantage of the cool PDKs.
Yeah.
Right. I have the manual version. So I'm not quite as good as a DMO heat, driving the car. So that even though I have ref matching, it just bothers the heck out of me because the gearing's way too high. People with PDKs are killing me. Yeah. If it's a car that can hold on for a long, long, long time, it'll be fine. But I actually quickly lost interest in that because it wasn't, special.
Yeah, I know. I got you. Understood.
Yeah, GTR was special. The problem with GTR is it makes all the mechanical noises. Every time you drive the thing, you feel like you thought your car is going to fall apart. Something's wrong.
But it's not.
No, it's not. That's just what the noise is supposed to be. It's like clank, 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 all that noise, right? But that's what a regular noise that GTR makes. Yeah.
That's so cool.
So at the same time, I didn't feel like that was that special. So then, of course, you start second guessing why you're paying that kind of money. I also promised my friend Tom that I was going to sell it to him cheap. So, and then for him, this happened at the initial end of lockdown at COVID. So when everybody returned back to work, everything shots up in price.
Yes.
So he took the car while the car started going up in price. But I promised I was going to sell it to that price. So he took the car and then he made a bunch of money after that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is good for him. But during that time, I started doing a lot more track days. And then I kept on seeing this guy's new car that he was driving. It was super fast. It looks totally awesome. And that was James's Supra, black Supra.
Baby.
Right? So he kept on modifying the Supra. Every time he modified, he says, I want that. I want that. He puts the arrow on. I was like, okay, I'm sold. Right? So I sold Tom the GT4. I bought the Supra. And then I use that year to mod it, and then you have that car now.
I want to ask questions as a third party. I don't want to ask you the next couple set of questions as the owner of that car, but how does it stack up against the GT4? Huge price tag, huge pedigree of the Porsche.
Better
how does it
than
stack
GT4.
Up against Godzilla?
Better
GTR,
than GT4 on track, 100%.
The king of kings?
Better than GT4
Gojira?
on track, 100%. Wow. Because they both have like magical ways of putting down power on corner exits. I would say driving a GT4 feels a lot more glorious. Right?
Sure.
If you look for the ultimate, like, I'm in the coolest shit ever, right?
Yes.
With the Porsche gauges, with the sound going like that, right? Yep. It's very, very glorious.
Okay.
Right. But there's a little of me like I can crash this thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then the car inherently it's set up to be a little bit more pushier, even though. But one of the things that you can do is you can live in mid corner on a GT4. The car will come around on you. Right. That's one thing that you don't do on a rare. I mean, 911s are not like that anymore. But mid-engine cars, when you do a hard lift in a high speed mid corner, it will come around on you. So you can't really off the throttle that much. Yeah, but when I'm driving a Supra, I feel invincible.
Oh,
right. I mean, wherever I want to turn and go, I put on power, it just goes.
Oh, baby.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a glorious car compared to the GT4 for the experience, for the driving experience.
Yeah.
But the end result is for half of the money, it's better.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. Yep.
Yeah.
I got
the autocrossing experience might be a little bit different, right? But on track, I think it's a different story. It really is. You don't have to spend. The beauty of the Supra is you don't have to spend too much money, right? And you can easily get into the GT4 level without that much money. Yeah. And then if you want to surpass the capability of GT4, a little bit more money, you're gone, right?
You're gone.
There's no way your car plus power or Tom Reynolds' car as is.
Yeah.
Tom Reynolds' GT4 can outrun that.
That thing is a rocket ship.
Yeah, no way. So and then I think Tom, I don't know if I tell you Tom will get pissed or not. I think Tom probably has 100,000 in that car.
Wow.
And he bought a used, but he has 650 horsepower with all.
But he's at Time Trials Nationals. He's a
god like 208s or something. I mean,
well, there was like 2-3 cars anywhere near him.
I mean, he was faster than the team Toyota. Yeah. I'm sorry. I mean, of course, Andrew Brownfield is really fast too, but they have a little bit of car trouble, right? Normally, they should be in the 207s, right? But Tom, man, holy crap, right?
He's a driver too.
Yeah,
he's a driver,
super fast, right? So there's no way the GT4 can cover that time. I mean, we're talking about, like stock GT4 and then versus, Tom's Supra. Tom's Supra is still cheaper, than a stock GT4. And he is, no kidding, 4 or 5 seconds faster.
I know.
At NCM. So it's not a comparison.
About Tom though, Tom doesn't know this, but he made me over $100. I was charging $20 per autograph. I kept telling, I was like, I'm the white Supra, and I was charging people for my autograph, and I was giving them out, and they were cheering.
Are you going to tell the listener that, like, if they watch the latest, Time Trial National video, your car actually is the one that accelerates the way with the logo Time Trial Nationals on it?
Mine starts, and then later when you see it going really fast, that's actually Tom.
Yes.
Mine, Danny, I'm in pit out.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going like 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's really
pit out.
Yeah, it's really cool. So that kind of tells you how good of a car Supra is, and there's no question now why everybody's buying the Supra, right? Yeah. You go on a track day or whatever. I mean, people are buying Supras left and right, and then they're into tracks and they have a little bit of money. They have a little bit of money to spend. That's what they're buying. Yep. Right. And then I don't want to say they're late adapters. I mean, they're actually discontinuing Supra right soon, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, because I mean, in a couple of years, around 2027, they're coming out with the Celica, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
I don't know if that rumor is correct, but I thought that
Toyota confirmed it. They confirmed it in their and they have this animated show on their website called Grip.
Yeah.
They confirmed it in the animated show like a month before they actually confirmed it in their news outlets.
Right. So are they doing what they did like way back when, where they actually discontinued the Supra. They will bring in the Celica, and then they will beef up the Celica and make that into the new Celica Supra.
Celica Supra. I don't know what the exact details are. All I know is Celica is coming, and it's going to be right there next to the Corolla, GR Corolla. It's going to be next to the GR86. And then Supra is going to be discontinued right around the time I think Celica is going to drop. So we'll see what they end up doing. But
yeah, because I mean, it will make all the sense, right? Because right now Supra is a BMW, right?
Correct.
So what they could do is they can build their Celica, right?
Yep.
And then super duper it, make that into the next generation Supra.
As of right now, my guess is that that's not going to happen. And here's why. They want to either have a small engine, a small, tiny engine, or they're going to want to make it hybrid powered,
Right.
So it's not going to be this beautiful, glorious inline six turbo monster.
Oh, no. But what I'm saying is that what they can easily do is they can do a hybrid, a full all-wheel drive, Supra, right? So because if like obviously the history of Supra and Celica, for a lot of younger kids that doesn't know is in the late
in the 80s,
77, 78, Supra, Celica came out. Then there was the Celica Supra in the 79, 80, right?
Yep.
And then you get into the 84 Supra, which is pretty iconic, right? And then they had the Celica first, and then they had the Celica Supra, right?
Exactly.
And then 86, they didn't necessarily have that. They went straight to the Supra.
Right. They went straight Supra, and then they broke Celica off entirely.
That's right. They started breaking them off. But
then they started racing it.
That's right.
In rally.
Yeah, that's the car our friend Andy Thomas had. Right? Yeah. But the thing is they go back into the 70s, the 80s timeframe where they're actually essentially the same car with one that's beef up and more. They could easily garner that strategy.
Yeah, they can do that. They can do that. It'd be kind of cool if they did.
Yeah,
I would enjoy it.
Yeah. All right. So after the Supra, that's when I realized that I'm really, really getting old.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And then that was towards the end of COVID. And at the same time, to be quite honest, I mean, my job is getting really, really flaky at the time, right? Mm-hmm. Because one of the things that I thought I was doing right was about 10 years ago, I used to manage in an IT department for different biotech companies, right? Mm-hmm. And then I realized that I first of all, I don't want to hurt cats or I don't want to babysit. Managerial stuff is just something that I'm not really good at. I got stuck with it for 20 some years, right? But I never really enjoyed it. I'm more of a hands-on person, right? I mean, you can see that I'm pretty hands-on. So I just didn't want to fall into this managerial trap, right? And basically just use your mouth, do the working, right? I want to be hands-on. So I switched back to the technical role. I kept on finding jobs under technical role and then basically abandoned my managerial type of positions. And I found one when I turned 50. So I thought that this was good. I'm going to work with the real skills now and I'll be current, right? Mm-hmm. But the interesting part is one of the things I never really thought is all the technical jobs are getting farmed out to other countries, right? And then everybody here in the US are managers now. So I work for a company that has 70% managers.
That's wild.
Right? And then I was one of the 30% of higher paid technical folks, right? Yep. And then, of course, my job's getting replaced more and more and more. So when that trend started coming in, it's very disheartening. But at the same time, I realized that I can't work forever because I'm going to get replaced. And plus, I'm up to a certain age now. Now I'm the prime target. So if I don't buy the car that I really want to buy now, that's it.
I think everyone knows what car you're talking about because at this point, after the Supra, a lot of people know you as Mr. Porsche.
Yeah. So instead of buying the car I really want to buy, which is a 911 GT3, right? I want a 991 GT3. Now who doesn't, right? I just can't afford it, right? And it's way too much money. So I end up, it was dumb.
You're so funny.
It was so dumb. I went to Sam Versallo, which was he was the DC Autocross chair, but he was a salesperson at Porsche and Bethesda, right? Nice. I went to him and I go, hey, I really like this blue 911 GTS. If he can give me a loan and qualify me, I'll buy it.
Oh my God.
So he goes, there's no way you're going to buy it. I said, you give me a loan that qualifies me at a low interest rate, I'll buy it, right? He says, sure, I'll work on it. Then he calls me back in 20 minutes and say, okay, you're qualified. When are you going to come and get the car, right? Chicken, right?
Yeah,
and I was like, I really can't come over because my wife can't find out about this. Right? You come and pick me up, I'll buy it.
Oh my God.
So he came and picked me up. Oh my. And I go, oh crap. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I bought this car. It was more expensive than my mortgage.
My God.
Right. But the thing is that's the ultimate dream, right? Of owning a car like that, right? I wanted one ever since I was 10 in 1975.
Golly.
Right. So anyway, so I bought that car, and then I raced that car for a year. I actually did a lot of track stuff. It was super cool. Man, I did. Oh my God. I mean, my last track event on the Supra was a Watkins Glen.
Watkins Glen, yeah. Sorry.
I drove out of Watkins Glen, and then we met halfway between Watkins Glen and DC, and you took the car.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Then I came back, and then I went full bore, man. So I went to Road Atlanta, I went to Daytona, I went to Sebring, I went to VIR, I went to Barber, I went to obviously all the Summit Point stuff. I did many track days in that car for the first year, and that cost me so much money. And tires and brakes and all of that stuff. And then I quickly realized that it doesn't matter if this is my dream car or not. I can't afford racing like that. Yeah. So I bought him.
Danny, that's what happened to me this year, by the way.
Yeah. So I went back to Mazda Miata.
There you go. Back to the answer.
And then that was a lot of fun, but I kept on getting heat strokes. We actually talked about it in the middle of our podcast back in the summer.
We talked about it on the podcast to take care of yourself for everyone.
So I end up getting a GR86 because I can actually lay down, turn the AC on, and sleep, which I've done a few times now going to track.
Which is good.
So it works out. Just to kind of end this whole entire episode is I started off with a bunch of beaters, right? And then went to the shifter carts. I did some formula stuff that I have no business being with, but it was just to gain experience. And then I started buying $900 cars and then add a bunch of expensive parts to make into something that what it shouldn't be. Right.
Kicking butt.
Yeah. And then I got into the, cannibalizing a bunch of Miatas and work with Cupcake, my friend Mike. And then they end up to be really improving to become a better driver and a better builder. And then I started cherry picking. And then I'm old enough to just buy the cars I really want to buy. And then now ultimately I need to come back into the cars that I can still enjoy and drive, but doesn't cost me an arm and a leg because I'm no longer generating the same income that I was generating.
Right? And also tires cost a lot. Brakes cost the consumables.
Everything costs a lot of money. You do this thing and get into full time. I would say, obviously this is the DMV Autocross podcast. Right. When you autocross, I mean, I heard Jack Chrissy and Marcus Pine complain about how expensive it is to campaign a national thing.
Sure.
And I've seen people that, putting their race tire on and taking it out and bags it and put it right back on. But some people just drive whatever they drive, right? It's all relative. Mm-hmm. The more you get into autocrossing, and then you're going to end up spending a lot of money on different things, traveling and buying consumables or buying stuff that gains you some advantage, right? And I sincerely hope that if you don't have that much money in your pocket, don't get into track, right? HPD is going to cost you X, and then time trial is going to cost you XX, and you go wheel to wheel is going to cost you XXXX. If anything, from these 6 episodes I talk about, I'm basically sharing this experience so that if there's any cars that you're interested in to kind of want to try or drive, right? Before you put your money out and buy it, I mean, post me a question, right? Yeah. Don't waste your money on a car that it's going to suck. Right? I don't think Adam and I would charge anything, but we'll share our experience with you. Right?
Absolutely.
But ultimately, hopefully you'll have your dream car. It doesn't matter what your dream car is, right? Like from my perspective, I would say, if there's a car that you always want to have, right? Go get it. Yep. Don't get rid of it.
I mean, that's what I did.
Yeah. So if you get it, you don't get rid of it, even if it's a fairly pricey car. Once you pay everything off and hold on to it, and don't buy anything else, ultimately in the long run, you always have your dream car that you want, but it's actually going to be super cheap because you already own it and have everything, right? The worst you can do is to go through 41 autocross cars and buy 121 regular cars and just keep on flip and lose money all the way, right?
No, because there's a journey. Everyone has their own journey. And if your journey is to only have one car, sure, buy one car, keep that one car, like you said. But then there's other kinds of journeys, right?
There is. I mean, like some people do different things or whatever. But I do think that owning all these cars actually kind of gives you kind of the idea that you actually get to experience a whole bunch of different things. But what I always say is you don't have to just experience things in cars, right? Just have all kinds of other stuff that's going on. I mean, don't get so fixated on one thing. Go play golf sometimes, go do some hiking sometimes, go play basketball with your friends or pickleball or go fishing and do things, right? To be a really, really well-balanced person, right? This way you really, really enjoy a hobby when you get a chance to do it. And then you're not getting into this sinkhole where I got to get a faster car. I got to go faster. I got to get a faster car. I got to go faster, because the end result is you might have a lot of these type of singular experiences, but you're not going to have too much money left.
Can you confirm that I did not tell you to talk about fishing or golfing?
No. That was all from me.
Slava, if you're listening to this, dude, I told you so. I told you, fishing and golfing is where it's at. We're gonna learn. Nate Atkins is gonna take us golfing. All right, Slava. Sorry, Slava and I, we're out as his kids. We have all these kids.
So Adam and I are going to end our last podcast as our last podcast. We'll be around for a while, like we talk about, and we'll have a new podcast host. And then look for the DMV fishing podcast by Adam Tabesh.
Yup. But I was at Slava's kid's birthday party, Nico's 8th birthday party. I got Luis's also 8. Like, they're all in the same class and stuff. And we're at this place called Kidsville. There's 10,000 screaming children in here. Not just Nico's birthday party. There was half a dozen other birthday parties, 200 kids at any moment just touching you and rubbing up you. And we had a series. Slava and I are standing there in the middle of all these kids. John Williman was there. He's got a kid. Like, everyone, we all have all these little kids. We're standing there in the middle of like hundreds of kids, and we're arguing about, I'm telling them fishing is the future. I'm telling you guys, it'll make us better racers. Fishing is in your future. It has to be. Think of the patience and the zen you get in the moment with the fish. You're just casting. We're talking. It's like we're racing, but it's free, right? Like, we're still talking the same. We're probably talking about cars while fishing, but it gets your mind into the zen. And then I was like, and Nate Atkins and Glenn Kruger, they golf. Maybe they could show us how to golf. I don't know. I mean,
maybe you can join Nate for the DMV Bad Golfer podcast.
DMV Bad. I'd enjoy that podcast too. So suck it, Slava.
Yeah, I would say though. I will give you the same advice. Buying 121 fishing rods is not a good thing.
Well, that doesn't even make sense. One fishing rod. We're not actual fishermen, all right, Danny?
Fishing rod. Listen, if I get into fishing, I'll be buying 121 fishing rods.
No, Danny. One golf club, one golf ball, one golf tee. We don't need all this other extra stuff.
I went through 50 sets of golf clubs.
That doesn't even make sense. I'm going to do one golf ball, and if it goes in the water, guess what, Danny? I'll bust out my one fishing pole, and I'll fish it right back out, and then I just keep using that one ball. It's so simple.
It will work a lot better if you have a huge net, by the way. I mean,
I didn't think about that. That's going to cost.
Not a golfer.
I'm not yet. I'm not a golfer yet. I can't wait to do golfing it. And I'm going to try bowling too. Like, I'm telling you guys.
I was on a high school bowling team.
Slava and I almost got into a fight in Kidsville. Yeah. All right. I'm telling you right now.
Who's the better bowler?
I'm glad we did. Williman would have had to break us up. Williman jumps in there and just break us up.
Okay. So let's end this episode with the take home message of this whole entire thing here. One is buy your dream car. Don't buy so many cars so you can save some money. And second thing, the advice for Ada, Williman, and Slava is keep your pants on so you don't have to deal with the Kidsville.
Keep your pants. Yo. Fine.
With that said, see you later.
Thank you, Danny. That's perfect. Great ending. This wraps up the 6 episodes of Danny's Cars. What'd you say earlier? 41 autocross cars, 121 regular cars. We could see that's one way of having a lot of fun and enjoying cars. Maybe not so much money left for retirement, but YOLO, right?
That's right. I'm still alive and kicking, right? So it's not as bad as it seems. So I really, and again, in all sincerity, I don't recommend people doing what I'm doing because you'll be forever poor. But I would say if you love cars, buy your dream cars, and the cars that you love, hold on to. In the long run, it will save you a lot of money, and you can always have your dream car, and that will always be with you. So good luck.
It's good advice. Thank you, Danny.
All right.
Perfect.
So when you signed off, what were you supposed to say? You say keep the tires on the track.
Yeah, keep your tires on the track,
and keep your pants on.
And keep your pants on.
All right, we end the segment.
This concludes our podcast episode. Everybody is excused except for the novices. Our novice meeting begins now. Okay, so for today's novice meeting, we're going to be talking about, it's getting really cold. Oh, I need a scarf. Oh, man.
Scarf?
Hold on. Let me get my scarf. Hold on.
Scarf.
Okay, I'm back. All
What
right.
kind of scarf is this?
We're going to be talking about the winter maintenance checklist. Brr.
Well, so first of all, we're in the DMV. We're not in Florida, so that the temperature is usually pretty cold by now, right?
Yes.
But
yeah.
I know tomorrow is going to be 85 degrees.
Look at this, Danny.
Yeah.
See this?
Oh, nice. Circuit of Americas. So
not cold.
So just for historical accuracy.
Yeah.
We're recording this podcast on election night.
Yeah, it's really hot outside, actually.
That's right.
Tomorrow's
So this
gonna be
gives you an idea of when this was recorded. So it is kind of a winter. It's approaching their winter because in the morning they're in the 30s now, right?
Yeah, but it gets so hot so quick.
Yeah, and then there's no more autocross events left.
Yep.
Unless you want to go to VMP every once in a while, or do some crazy.
Maybe
or
the Carolina.
Refrigerable, right? Refrigerable is going on now, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's time for you to put the car up jack stands and get it fixed and get it right.
Yes,
right?
It is. Exactly.
Yeah.
So also, let's talk about, you just mentioned that this is the election night. Look at how dedicated we are, that we don't even know what's happening because we need the podcast for the DMV Autocross, okay?
That's right.
I just want to throw that out there. All right.
Yeah.
I don't even know what's happening.
Me neither. Yeah.
Okay.
It's out of sight, out of mind. It's probably good.
we got to focus on what really matters.
That's right. Right. It's
right.
the post-race winter maintenance.
Okay. Yeah, matters. Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Danny, there are a couple areas of maintenance. Okay. Autocross. We're not talking about like, oh, my car. Like, yes, maintenance for the vehicle.
Yes.
But then there's also different kind of race maintenance that we do. So we're going to talk about both maintenances. The first one is your basic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your oil change, right? Check your hubs. Make sure your car is in safe, good running condition. Do you want to talk about that for a second?
Yeah. So I think the thing that it might, a couple things that I think that's going to break or that needs attention to, right?
Yeah.
One is definitely your wheel hubs.
Yeah.
Right. Because I mean, especially if a car, you have a bunch of cambers and stuff like that, or even without a camber, every time you turn a car, especially in those drastic moves, you're actually generating a lot of motions.
Yeah.
Right. And obviously your shock and your sway bar, all that stuff is going to take care of some of that. But don't forget, a lot of times, especially when you don't have any camber, you're driving a car like this and you're really putting a lot of loads on a car, especially when the thing goes the opposite direction.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, check your hubs, grab it, spin it and see if you can hear some strange noises, and then see if you can hold on to the tire and kind of move back and forth, right? When it's a little loose, it's kind of hard to tell, but when it's a lot of loose, you can tell pretty easily.
Not that hard to tell.
You can hear the clunks, right? Yeah. And sometimes when you move that, if your sway bars or some other suspension parts is kind of loose, when you swing that, you can hear clunking from that too, right? Yep. So look at your sway bar and make sure that everything is tied and torqued to spec, right? Those are like the basic things you have to do. You have to do that throughout the season anyway.
Sure.
But if you have never done it, that means that you're pretty lucky and your car is pretty good.
Yep.
Then, definitely go over it, right? Just make sure that will be the number one thing.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
And the other thing that I can think of is, see, autocrossing, you don't really use that much brake, but keep an eye on it.
Take
right?
a look.
Take a look. Just take a look, right? I mean, I don't recommend you get like super race pads like some of the pads that I have. It generates a lot of crazy noise, right? And then when it's not hot enough, it just eats rotors, right? That's probably not good. You're just wasting money for no reason. But, if your stock pad is not up to par, maybe look for something like Sam Strano or recommend to you or whatever. I think the DS2500 from Ferodo is a pretty good pad for autocrossers, or some other ones. Just don't go something that drastic and generate that much noise. Yep. Right. So you can drive on the street and still be good. I mean, I would recommend something like that. And that's probably a good time to do it. Right. And then the other thing, which is, this is a tip that a lot of experienced autocrossers would know, but not for novices and newbies probably doesn't know, is if you have 200 treadwear tires, if the temperature is falling below 50 degrees, right, take them off and then put them inside, either in the basement or something, and cover it. Right. Because what will happen is if you don't do that, you leave it outside, right, I'm not sure if you experienced this, especially if you're novices, you probably didn't, and you buy these, nice Yokohamas or Bridgestone for the first time. If the temperature is below 40 degrees when you drive out, your car in the morning, your car actually goes, right? That means that the rubber is totally hard. It's not really compliant enough to roll in those kind of temperatures. If you start abusing it, you're actually going to crack them or, kind of ruin those tires, right? So if you're not running these events, take those tires off and then leave them inside. And then next spring, when the temperatures warm up again, you take them out, right? And then you're not wasting your tire, or you don't require that much time for your tire to wake up to perform again, right? So those are the things that's really the most basic maintenance.
Yes, exactly. Right? That's good. Yeah. So the basic,
make sure everything is tight, right? Wheel hubs, bring your tires in, and then consider changing brakes, but don't do anything drastic.
Exactly. So you just mentioned it, the basic maintenance. This is universal. Doesn't matter what kind of car you have. Doesn't matter what class you run in, right? You got to do these things. Now, speaking of class, Danny, what happens if I don't want to stay in the same class and I want to switch to a different class?
Yeah.
Then this
is the right time, right? Once you got into this hobby, you'll realize that you either over prepped or you're under prepped, right? It's because the rule is so strange, right? I mean, most people will say, okay, here, one of the cool things I want to do with my car is I'm going to throw up a carbon fiber hood with a big cutout,
I don't
to change your car. That throw you instantly into my...
welcome, friends.
I know, yeah. So the thing is that this is also a good time to kind of reassess, right? If you started from the beginning of the year, you're no longer a novice, man. You're doing this for a whole year now,
right? You're a seasoned veteran.
I'm going to nationals by now.
Yeah, actually,
yeah. So the key thing is this is also the time that you kind of review your game, right? Yes. And to see what you want to do to your car, right? You either demod them to get into the class where you can feel competitive, or you start adding stuff to your car to make sure that your car is competitive.
Exactly. And so that evaluation you just spoke of, that's the first step. You evaluate. Do I want to stay? Do I want to go down? Do I want to go up? Right? This is all part of the winter checklist. Then when you decide what you're doing, you got to attack it, right? What do I mod next? What do I take off? How do I prep? What does that look like? How am I going to get ready for next year? Because now I'm not a novice anymore, right? Now I'm going to be, they know my name. I've been out here a bunch of times. Now I'm going to try to compete with some of these other guys and give it a shot.
Yeah.
So,
and I also think that, I know it's the worst time of the year to stay out in the cold and go fix your cars, right?
Yeah.
But you know what? This is probably the best time for you to do that.
It is.
Right? So, things like I have a 40-pound exhaust, cat bat exhaust, that I have an opportunity to ditch that and go to a 20-pound setup.
Yeah.
Right. And then I also freed up a little bit more. You can go to a larger exhaust. I mean, it might be a little bit louder, right? But at the same time, there's actually some competitive advantage, right?
Yeah.
So when you do that, you do the work yourself, right? Yep. This is the time that in the winter you don't have any events. Do the work yourself.
You got time.
You got time, right?
Time, yeah.
So especially if this is not your daily, car, right? If you're fortunate enough to have a daily car and a fun car, and then now it's time for you to kind of mess around with your fun car. Don't do things that you couldn't do and kind of mess up and actually destroy the car, right? But I think changing exhaust is not that hard.
It's not. It's easy.
Changing brake pads is not that hard.
Yep.
Right. Yep. And then I'm not asking you to do an engine swap. But for most people, if you haven't got your hands dirty, you always pay somebody else to do this work, right? It's probably a good time to kind of do some of that stuff, right? Take things off and go over your suspensions. And then this might be the time that you say, hey, I'm running a stock class, but I kind of want to put MCSs on now. Yeah. Right? Yep. And then if you don't have mag ride, you can do MCS, right? Or if you have mag ride, you have something like a Porsche or a C8 or something like that. Hey, you want to get one of those shock controllers, electronic shock controllers, right? From TPC. Now you can put them on and then learn how to put that on, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So those are the opportunities for you to do during the winter time, because now you're engaging to a different hobby that actually it's a combination of you, how you drive, and your car, right? So if you pay a lot of attention to your car, or you pay a lot of attention, to yourself, or a lot of attention to your event, now it's time to pay some attention to your car.
Exactly.
So make sure that, next year when you come back, you're ready to go.
Ready to go. I love it. I love it. So that's pretty good. I think personally, I'm going to stay in XA next year. Do you know what your plans are, Danny? Have you thought about it yet?
I'm going to crash your party.
Yes. I love it.
So this will be interesting, right? So XA cars, you have what, 350, 400 horsepower in your case, right?
Sure.
And then you have choice doing a K swap.
Oh, yeah.
Know, so say it has a 2,300 pound or 2,200 pound car
with a driver. It's so light.
That's 300 pounds, right?
Yeah.
You put Choi in there, now it's 800 pounds.
Yeah. But, oh my God. Poor Choi.
Choi is great. He made me free numbers. I mean,
he's the best. He's the best.
Yeah, that's right. But then, I also heard a rumor that Norm Flowers is going to take his Porsche and run XA.
Oh my God, dreams come true.
That's right.
Dreams.
So now I'm going to get into XA with my GR86.
Are you not XB? I thought you were very light.
No, I think I'm in XA.
Okay, cool. Welcome.
Yeah. I'll come in and run XA, right?
Yep.
So what will happen is you're going to see hood vents, you're going to see splitters, you're going to see canards, you're going to see wings, and you can see diffusers, right? And you're going to see different setup, and then you're going to see different graphics.
Oh,
that's another thing that you can do during wintertime, right? If you're bored, right?
Wrap it.
I mean, wrap it, right?
Yep.
You can either spend some time wrapping the car or throw some graphics on it, right? If you really look at it, when I first started, there was a lot of graphics on the cars everywhere, especially the car that goes to nationals.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now it's getting kind of boring.
The cars look like driving to an autocross, Danny. I don't know if that's a regular car driving down the street or a seasoned autocross vet because they look stock.
They all look the same, right? So now the person like Cly, who never really decorated their cars, now has all these all these cone marks and stuff like that. And then his car is the most stickers.
Yeah, I love.
And your car, right?
I got a bunch of stickers.
Everybody else's car, to be quite frank, it's kind of boring.
Yeah, it's really sad. Really sad.
It's really kind of boring. Glenn's car actually has the fangs in the front.
I like the fangs.
That's kind of cool, right?
It's fun.
But that's like the most stickered car.
Norm's car is the best.
Norm's car, obviously.
There's two cars. There's two cars, in my opinion, in this whole region that are heads and tails above the rest. One is Norm's car. The second is Patrick's car. Those two cars kill it. They look
so basically you have to be over 60 to do.
They're over 60. I thought they were over 80. What are they, 90? How old are those guys?
So next year I'm gonna sticker my car. I'm gonna join them.
Oh
yeah. I already know what kind of scheme I'm going to use.
Are they going to call you the young gun? Because compared to the other two,
I am not going to do the I'm not going to do the anime, young girl porn stuff that those guys have.
First of all, it's not called porn. If it's anime, it's called hentai. All right.
I have no idea what that is.
That's like the anime porn. It's called hentai. I don't know why I'm whispering.
I know. I mean, I don't know when that became a thing, but
it's been a thing.
I know it's been a thing. I know my friend Justin Crenshaw does it, and then he does it tastefully.
I don't think he does hentai. I think you're just thinking of anime.
Anime. Yeah. Anyway, I have no idea what that is. That's way beyond my age, right? That's something that I tell my kids not to do or see.
Let's like, comment, and subscribe on this video, folks.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen hentai.
No, I have no idea what it is. I'm serious. I'm not even making that up.
Oh my God. I'm going to jail.
I will have an interesting graphic on my car.
I love it.
Yes. And that will happen.
Can I guess what it is?
Yes.
Is there a chicken somewhere included in it?
Maybe.
Did I guess it? Did I really already guess it?
Yeah. There's going to be half a chicken and half something else.
Oh man!
All right, I think we just kill Ada.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I died just a little bit just now.
No. So that something like that will happen. So we'll see.
Awesome.
So we'll see. All right, then we can wrap our 25th episode of the DMV Autocross Podcast. And thank you for spending the last the time with us. And we hope again you find this fun and informative.
All right, and don't forget to join us for the next episode. And until then, keep those tires on the track and that wing in the back.
The wing is coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. All right. See you later.
See you, Danny.